Hello everyone, it's Brian Shannon here from alphatrends.net. What we're going to do in this video is take a look at some trading ideas for the upcoming week. So let's go ahead and take a look first at Berry Petroleum, symbol BRY. You can see that the stock, it trades an average of 470,000 shares a day, and it's just recently broken some resistance here at about $31.20, and you can see that resistance is now holding a support. So when we back it up to a weekly time frame, you can see the stock has actually spent about a last 6 or 7 months here consolidating this prior big run, and now it looks like it's poised for another leg higher here. And Berry Petroleum, oil's breaking out, looking bullish and breaking out. So this stock looks to me like it can work its way higher towards about 35 bucks a share. Now I haven't checked the earning dates for the dates of the earnings releases for any of these companies. So if you're going to do trade any of these stocks, be sure to take a look at when the earnings are due out and manage risk always with a stop. So for this stock, Berry Petroleum, I think that we want to see it get above the near-term highs that we had seen, probably just above 32 bucks a share. I don't think you have to wait necessarily to make a new high above this level at 32.20 from the 6th of this month. I think just above 32 will get it going. You can see how it's been holding up above this rising 5-day moving average. So I would think that you can get in above 32 bucks a share. Worst case stop probably down near about 31.15, and look for it to start working its way higher towards 35. In particular, if oil can continue to look bullish here as it does. We're seeing that oil had broken out, and that prior resistance holding its support at the rising 10-day moving average. So anyways, I'm going to be out of town Monday and Tuesday, so I'm not going to be following up on any of these stock ideas. And this is something I usually put out for subscribers only. But I am putting out on YouTube today as well. Sienna Corp, CIEN. You can look at the weekly time frame. Really looking like it could get going higher here nicely. We look at this maybe even as a cup and a handle in here. I know a lot of people like to look for those, but you can see this resistance recently near 16.5 or so. If it can clear above that, the stock could be continuing to head higher, maybe up to even towards as high as 20 bucks a share. We've got a nice volume pattern here that is increasing volume on the rallies, lighter volume relatively on the consolidations. And looking at a 10-minute time frame, you can see that same type of pattern, that is big volume on these moves higher. It broke down, but there wasn't a lot of volume with it there that broke down on Thursday. So we had seen this kind of as a critical level over the last 4 days. In fact, what we can do is look at a 4-day volume weighted average price, and you can see we closed pretty much right at that level on Friday. So to me, it says the buyers are still in control, and I think probably getting back up above this high here of $16.50, you could purchase this stock with a worst case stop probably at about $15.80. And I say worst case stop from a swing trader's perspective. You want to buy some momentum, then use the definition of higher highs and higher lows. So put your stop underneath that higher low. In Sienna Corp, it looks like you can continue higher. CPWR, this is a stock that some subscribers probably have a position in above $8.57 from Friday. It broke nicely above that level, and if you are in it, then put your stop at about $8.50. I don't think the stock is too far gone to chase it here. It looks like it's just beginning a new leg higher here on the 30-minute time frame, and when we take a look at that daily, you can see that it's been a nice consolidation here. We're just breaking higher once again, and to look at a weekly time frame, we get a bigger perspective here and can see that level that it's consolidated above was this prior resistance, and now it looks like the stock should be able to continue higher towards about $9.50 a share. Again, stops on all these trades, I'd say worst case probably down near about $8.50 a share. If it's to break back below 8.5 bucks a share, I just don't think the momentum will be there to sustain itself. Subscribers were stopped out of this with a dime loss on Friday. We had a pretty tight stop, but the stock was starting to work it for us on the short side. On this particular stock, it's interesting that CXW, a volume weighted average price. You look at you can see how that line is building, and it's giving us an average price since this date right here. So since it started breaking down, the average price was about $20 a share. Now if you look at the recovery price as well, so we'll draw another one of these volume weighted average price lines, you can see it got swallowed up right into the other line. So let's just erase the other one and draw this one again. I have no control of where this line is being drawn, only the time it's taking into consideration. So the volume weighted average price since this breakdown and since this recovery is right around that 20 bucks a share. If it gets back above 20 bucks a share, I think you're going to see a short squeeze rally. But to me, it's still guilty till proven innocent. We're looking at a weekly time frame right now, and we can see that it broke down hard, rallied up, and it should, I think, continue back lower down towards another test of this $17.50 to $18 level. And it still has a declining 5-day moving average. We got stopped out at $19.69 on Friday. The high was $19.70. I would say if the market starts deteriorating a bit, this would be a good go-to stock on the short side. Worst case stop, probably, at this point I'd say right up in here, but you need more market action basically to set up and let us know exactly where to get involved. And again, we're in a bull market, so odds don't favor short sales, but it's always good to have a name or two that looks like the stock is in trouble. And again, earnings can change the story dramatically on any of these charts. So please check when earnings are due out. El Paso Corp, symbol EP. You can see on this daily time frame, it's broken some resistance. It's still kind of battling with that level, but we do have a rising 10, 20, and 50-day moving average. And when we move to a weekly time frame, you see a very bullish looking pattern here. A stock that's basically done a whole bunch of nothing here. So it doesn't have a history of really nice rallies. It does get some good rallies, but it kind of just grinds higher. So you want to be sure that you're taking profits when it does begin to move higher. But looking at a 10-minute time frame, this is kind of doing exactly what I told subscribers what we want to see, which was that maybe it tests these highs from the midday on the 7th of April, and then pulls back a little bit and creates a higher low. You could also say that on a very short-term basis, this is creating an inverted head and shoulders pattern. But what we want to see is right now, we want to see a movement back above this level here at about $11.50. If it can reclaim that $11.50 level, well, then what do we have? We have what looks like now in the 10-minute time frame a higher low. We add a higher high to it. That gives us the definition of uptrend on the 10-minute time frame, which it falls into alignment with the uptrend on the daily time frame and the trend of uptrend on the weekly time frame. So we have an alignment of trends across multiple time frames, what I wrote a book about. So this is a nice setup. If it happens, we want to buy above here, throw our opinions to the side, and say if it fails, where do we put our stop? Maybe down near about $11.30 a share. So we risk maybe 20 cents a share, which is a pretty tight stop, but looks like it can work its way higher up towards maybe 13.5, 14 bucks a share. EXH, I believe, is involved in a similar business. This is X-Teran Holdings. And you can see, let's take a look at the monthly time frame. It got smashed in 2008 with a lot of stocks and has built this nice long base. So it's really been more neutral, but starting to turn higher once again. We have a nice higher low on the weekly time frame right here. We've got a rising 10, 20, 30, 40 week moving average, and breaking past these levels and holding in here. I mean, if the stock has good fundamentals and it's a real recovery candidate, then who knows where this thing could go. But I think that it's good for at least probably a couple points. It started to get going on Friday a little bit. We can see that the volume started coming into it on these couple days here where it was higher. On that red candle day, we had lighter volume, and then the activity picked up again on Thursday and Friday. So on a 10-minute time frame, you can see that this is similar to the the El Paso line basically here at 1450. So this is El Paso on the 10-minute time frame. This is EXH on a 10-minute time frame. So this is why we want to buy El Paso. Same type of setup, little inverted head and shoulders pattern here on EXH, same little pattern on El Paso. So perhaps EXH is a day ahead of El Paso. Anyways, this stock looks like it's on its way. You might want to wait for a little bit of a pullback and then strength, or maybe just buy it above the highs of Friday and set your stop. Worst case, probably down near 26 bucks a share. It looks like it's on its way to a couple points higher, so I think that it's still in a good buyable place here. Furniture brand FBN, a little bit more thinly traded, so be aware of that. It only trades 369,000 shares a day. We had a nice trade in this one for subscribers back in here, and I believe in there as well. But this stock still looks like it has some room to run on the weekly time frame. You can see where this resistance held as support after that nice big volume move, and could see this stock up near, I think, $9 a share. Here it is, just at $7. Probably needs to clear this line right here at about $7 a share. So let's take a look at a 30-minute time frame. We can see that the resistance really has been at about $7.02 or 3 cents a share. Let's take a look actually and see. This high was 702. This high here was 703. So I think the stock probably needs to clear that 703 from March 25th. If it can get above 703, then we want to set our stop probably 665-ish or so, and look for continued movement higher, and hopefully be in a position to continue to raise your stops as the stock moves forward. HAFC is one of these financials, a regional bank, I believe. Anyways, a lot of the regional banks have been moving nicely, and this one's kind of holding on up in here just below some what's been important resistance at 278, 280 or so. But if it can get past this level, then I think you're going to see a quick movement up towards about $3.50 a share. So back to the daily time frame, you can see that really it's had this this number here is 274. On this day we had 275, 274, and 272. So I think up through 275 this one could get going, and when these little stocks get going, sometimes they really, a lot of momentum traders pile in and chase them, and you get really great percentage moves like we had here, and that I'd mentioned on Twitter this past week, PCBC at $1.90. Anyways, so these little banks can really get moving nicely, and I think above 270, what did I say, 275 or 276, whatever that high was, it gets back above there. Worst case stop probably 35 cents away, 40 cents away rather, at about 235 or so. You could even tighten that up by looking at a 10-minute time frame and saying maybe stop at 250 or so. It does trade about 467,000 shares a day, but you can see back here that the stock was trading 7 million shares a day. So when people get excited about it, they chase it with big volume, and could be setting up for another move higher, as is MoneyGram, MGI. MGI looks like it's probably got some room up towards about $4.5, $5 a share, and it's got a very nice looking daily chart here. It trades about 500,000 shares a day. It's up on nice volume, nice consolidation above this rising 10-day moving average. The 10's above the 20, the 20's above the 50, 50's above the 100, and etc. So it's got this nice longer term. It just broke out a couple weeks ago, but it's consolidated those gains very nicely, and the momentum could come back into this name right up above about $3.81, maybe a stop below 367, or even if you wanted to give it a little bit more room, down near 358. Final stock I want to talk about is Peser International, PACR. This one kind of looks familiar, actually similar to CPWR. So look at these look at this daily chart. Hasn't really gone yet. And then look at the CPWR, very similar. I don't know if they're in the same business, but To me, that's irrelevant. What we see is a pattern here. We have a nice big volume move and a tight consolidation. It really didn't pull back a whole lot here. You consider the size of the rally. If you take a look at Fibonacci, it really only pulled back not even a 38.2% retracement. So that tells me that there's just a reluctance to sell this stock, but there's still bidders in here near about that 570 level that have been holding it up. So you don't want to buy it here as it's doing nothing, and you want to be prepared and say, if it can continue to move higher, where is it likely to encounter the supply if it can move higher? Well, I think maybe up towards $8 a share. That looks reasonable. Real nice big volume move, and you could call this a little flag here on the weekly time frame. On the 10-minute time frame, you might need to really get that momentum, to kickstart above 625, above $6.25. I think you could buy this stock, risk about a quarter, and then that's where you're going to see maybe a little bit of sluggish activity through till it gets through that 680-ish area. But beyond that, the weekly time frame looks great and could make another nice run. So again, find the earnings dates for all of these. Put your stops in on all these trades and manage risk. That's job number one. And these look like low risk setups, so make the trade your own.